Drivers, start your engines.
Welcome everybody to Homestead, Miami, Florida for round number 2 of the MROC Multi-League Race of Champions. Live from Homestead Speedway down in Florida. We got the damage all repaired from a couple of hurricanes, and we've got quite the field here for road racing tonight at Homestead. I'm joined in the booth by Ken Huber out west in Montana. How's it going out there, Ken?
Going great there, Scott. Did you say road racing at Homestead?
Left and right turns. Oh, yeah.
What kind of car are we talking about? Is it a Ferrari? Is it a F1? A kart? What are we
car
driving
racing. We're bringing out the super late models you can see on the racetrack right now. For some road racing, we Ken and I put some time in developing this schedule. We decided that it's best to kind of have a whole realm of racetracks, different types of road racing included with the short track racing for the other 3 races. So here we are road racing, making left and right turns for a change here at Homestead, a road course that I've never driven on myself other than a couple practice laps. But how much time do you have out here, Ken?
So yeah, I have a few races out here. It's actually a good track for close quarter racing. I found when we were running on the Wednesday nights, the group tended to stay together, so a lot of close racing. It was hard for a super fast guy just to pull away immediately, although we do have some fast guys on the track tonight. We're looking at some of the lap times. Johnny Hamby up there with the 18.5 and Christopher Davis out there with the 18.9. So both those guys are super fast tonight. The other thing is some of these faster guys are going to be starting near the back, and some of the others will be starting up front. So it's going to be a wild ride tonight, I think, and we're going to do it for 20 laps.
Absolutely. Should be a nice one. Should be fun. We'll take a look at Johnny Hamby right now. We're on board. Kind of give you an idea of the racetrack layout as it comes to that hairpin, Ken. I think that's turn number 8. Is that right? Going out to the backstretch?
Yeah, he's on turn 8 right now, just about getting on 9, getting onto the backstretch here. And then 10 and 11 basically is the old turns 3 and 4 as they go around Miami. And when he goes around here, the car gets really free here, so it wants to get tight and free. You can see him running the typical oval line there, about a lane up from the bottom. And he's got good control of that car right now as runs it back up high as he crosses the start-finish line up here. He's going to want to brake early going down into turn 1 here. It's a long braking zone in here. It's not super brake demanding while he blows through that. I was going to kind of describe that turn, but there you go. I think we're getting ready to end practice and grid him up here shortly, Scott.
Yeah, we'll look at Charlie Widener here. Why not, as he dives down in the turn number 1. And that sharp left-hander right there is quite the tricky turn to get slowed up, get these cars slowed up and keep them on course here. So 30 seconds left here in practice. Of course, in the MROC series, we're going straight to the grid. There's no qualifying. The grid tonight is going to be set based on the reverse finishing order, invert, from last week's finish at North Wilkesboro. So I believe on the pole, I think is going to be Johnny Hamby. Does that sound right, Ken?
It might be. I don't know. We have a couple of drivers out tonight for other commitments, so I don't know where that's going to... I think Johnny Hamby was about 3rd or 4th, if I remember right. I think he finished near the back last week, like 12th or something. So this is going to put him up front along with Christopher Davis. Michael Melfeld Jr., though, who's 3rd in qualifying, is going to be starting near the back because he dang near won that race. I think he did, as a matter of fact.
Yes, he did. Led every lap. Ironically, if I had to pick one of these racetracks with the 4 races for a driver to lead every lap, I don't know that I would have picked North Wilkesboro, but Michael Melfeld did it in dominating fashion. Clock is run out now, and we're going down to grid. We'll pull up the starting order, starting lineup here, and we'll get rolling here tonight at Homestead, Miami, Florida.
Yeah, this is going to be an exciting lineup. Like I was saying, Michael Melfeld Jr. is going to start dead last, so do have the starting lineup here. We got 11 cars that are going to start tonight, so that'll be interesting too, Scott. But like I said, one of the faster guys starting all the way from the back.
Yeah, let's go through the starting grid here. Trent Drum on the pole, Charles Widener in 2nd, Billy Bumgarner in 3rd, Johnny Hamby from Covington, Georgia. We talked about him being probably quite competitive tonight. Going to be starting 4th. Mike the Dart Erder in 5th from Dallas, Texas. Christopher Davis in 6th. James Hearns, one of our league admins, starting in 7th. Greg Mall from Aurora, Nebraska, starting in P number 8. Jack Watts in the number 77 from Grand Rapids, Michigan, starting 9th. Rod Mitten, Swedesboro, New Jersey, starting in 10th. And Michael Melfeld, shotgun on the field. 11-car field here tonight as the cars begin to roll off the grid.
Yeah, and what I was going to mention too, I mentioned Michael Melfeld Jr. He won that race last week at North Wilkesboro. He's starting from the back, and he's back there with the 92, Rod Minton. Rod Minton has also put down some blistering fast lap times out here tonight. He's running 19.8. Michael Melfeld Jr. is also in the low 19. So both these guys got fast cars. They're starting in the back, so that ought to be entertaining. So one of the other things too, Scott, is in these late models, it is really tricky for the first couple of laps. These cars are already hard to handle, even with hot tires, but on cold tires, guys have to be extra careful getting on the brakes and getting on the throttle when they're exiting the corners, because these cars will turn really fast on you.
Absolutely, totally agree with that. It's going to be a lot of patience tonight, especially jamming these cars down into turn number 1 when the green flag falls. See how much patience these guys have. Probably knowing that they want to make up some track position when they can, when the cars are bunched together. That's obviously the easiest time to potentially pick up some spots. But certainly don't want to be too aggressive and make a mistake in turn number 1, potentially ruining the rest of the outcome of your race.
Yeah, no caution flags. As they're heading down this backstretch here, and basically in the middle of the track, this is coming into turn 8. This tends to be one of the better passing zones. You can outbrake your competitors, or somebody will get on the brakes late and actually slide it outward, and then you can take the inside lane. So this hairpin is a very crucial corner. We'll see probably some passing in this corner tonight. Watching that 95 there on the outside pole. The other thing we don't have tonight is a Geico restart zone, so I think the leader is going to be able to control the starts. They go when the leader goes, and like I said, no caution lap or caution flags tonight. And we are no fuel stops, no tires. So they got what they got.
That's it. That's the same for every race here for the Multi-League Race of Champions. No tire changes. We kind of modeled it after the old IROC series. That was the International Race of Champions back in the 90s. I think it started even earlier than that, 80s maybe, through the mid-2000s or so. And we kind of modeled this series off of it. It's been a huge hit so far, so we're looking forward to round number 2. It's only a 4-race championship run, so these guys don't have much time to make up points when they can. But I think these guys are going to be looking to take advantage of the fact that there's some competitors on a typical week that aren't here this week. So guys like Johnny Hamby expect to be pretty competitive, along with Mike Erder. And who else do you think?
Well, Christopher Davis was super fast in practice, and he's back there just behind Johnny Hamby right now as they're about to take the green flag. Waiting for that flag man to wave that flag. Trent Drum leads them off the line here as they head towards turn 1. They got to be careful here. And that 95 actually gets a great jump going into turn 1. It looks like the 12 just lets them go there, and we see the cars stack up. A lot of these guys taking it very gingerly coming into turn 1 here as they come around the corner into turn 2. You got to be really careful with the cold tires here, and I think that's what everybody's doing, trying to let the tires warm up.
Yeah, looking at Billy Bumgarner, Christopher Davis, Mike Erder, all stuck behind Trent Drum, who's been very careful here as those 2 leaders are starting to spread the gap already. 3 seconds as it's quite the hornet's nest. 3 wide with Billy Bumgarner giving up some spots. Erder trying to move up some spots here in the field.
Yeah, that really stacked up the field. That allowed Hamby and Trent Drum. All right, I need to check that. That's allowed Johnny Hamby in the 95. Charles Widener up there running 1-2 as they have escaped from the field somewhat. Christopher Davis, I believe, is in that 3rd position.
Looking off the back camera view, left rear of Charlie Widener, our leader right now. Johnny Hamby in that teal colored car just behind him. They go down the NASCAR backstretch here into NASCAR turn 3 and 4. They're running the bank like we talked about earlier when we were following that lap from Johnny Hamby. They're using the NASCAR banking here through turn 3 and 4. They come onto the front stretch, and 1 lap on the board already. Charles Widener with a 6/10 second lead.
Well, I got to hand it to Charlie. He's doing a great job tonight. You know, usually road course racing and Charles Widener, those 2 names are not synonymous. Oh no, he goes off track there.
Talk about the jinx is back, huh?
Oh my goodness. Johnny Hamby now inherits the lead, and that's what I talked about getting into turn 1 early in this, and especially on cold tires, you got to be careful in that braking zone. And I think that got Charles Widener, but he'll have some time to make up, see if he can catch back up with Johnny Hamby here.
We're on board with Greg Mall from out in Nebraska. I think Greg's mom is watching. Shelly's out there. She says, "Let's go, Mall."
Yeah, I was watching Mall during practice. He's kind of struggling with the car. You see him get a little sideways there off the corner. So he's heading down, really sideways in turn 7 there. It's really easy to get sideways. I think the next time by, these cars will start feeling pretty good. It gets some heat in the tires. Gets into turn 8, heavy braking zone. You see he comes out wide, and he's running down Charles Widener at this point, though.
How much of a draft do you think these guys can pick up here on the backstretch? As we watch from the roof cam, and Greg Mall trying to pick up a slight, see if he can sniff out a draft here from Charles Widener up there.
Yeah, I think it's worth about a half a second when you're on the oval side of the track here, if you're close enough to that second place. But Greg Mall has been running up high, kind of out of the draft during practice, and that's kind of what he's doing here tonight too.
Look back in the field here a little bit. Christopher Davis in that teal colored car, number 38. Mike Erder there running in 5th spot. One thing we did this week a little bit different as let's go forward here a little bit. See Greg Mall trying to make a move on Charles Widener in that hard left-hand corner. See if we can get it done here in the next corner maybe.
Yeah, those two guys battling like that. It's allowing the 38 car. That teal machine of Christopher Davis is catching up. Christopher Davis super fast tonight. I wouldn't be surprised if he takes advantage of any incidents that happens between those two drivers up ahead of him. Oh, Greg Mall, hard on the brakes, overdrives it into turn 7 there, turn 6. Now they're going through turn 7, trying to get it. He's going to go nearly the last there.
There's Michael Milfeld making the pass on him as well as Greg Mall, you see him on leaderboard, drops down to 9th spot with that one incident.
So back up front, Christopher Davis actually has gotten around Charles Widener, so give that second place position to Christopher Davis. As I was talking about before, Christopher Davis super fast tonight. See if he can run down Johnny Hamby. It looks like he's about 3.5, 4 seconds behind him at this point.
And the one thing I was going to say for the fans, the update that we did this week on the ticker, you see notice colors there next to their names and the car numbers. Those colors correspond to, you guessed it, their actual car color. So maybe a little bit easier to follow exactly who's in what car, even though their names are on the quarter panel. I know that's a little bit tricky to see. So we got a little color coding for you there as all these guys go single file into turn number 1 here.
Yeah, and I got to hand it to you, Scott. You did a wonderful job painting all these cars for this MROC series, and all the drivers should be kind of very delighted. Oh, Charles Widener goes around in turn 2 there, and so there's another mishap by one of our leaders. Starting to move his way to the back of the field here at this point, so he's going to fall in behind Greg Mall, who made that mistake earlier. Anyway, what I was going to say there, Scott, was I actually forgot.
Oh, we're talking about the cars, right? Painting the cars? And...
Oh, yeah, painting the cars. They're so beautiful, and the drivers, I know they all appreciate you putting in all the work to get these cars painted. I got to tell you, my favorite car of the night, I commented during practice, was that 78 car of James Hearns. Running about mid-pack right now. He's also known as a pretty good road racer. Kind of hasn't found his feet yet, but he's taking his time trying to wind his way through the field. Just ahead of him, got the yellow car, the 92 of Rod Mitten, who started like second off the back, and he's up to 5th place now. So Rod Mitten moving his way through the field.
Rod Mitten wanted that custom yellow paint there. We stole that from, not steal it, but we borrowed it, I guess, the color code from his actual cup car. And he had a blue and yellow scheme, so we were able to match that yellow car for him. Let's talk about some lap times, Ken, shall we? Rod Mitten, I guess while we're on him, last time by with a 21.5. And our leader, Johnny Hamby, with a 20.6. So about 1 second off the pace that time by for Rod Mitten. Christopher Davis up in second, only 0.2 off the pace of Johnny Hamby.
Yeah, and Rod Mitten's been fighting through traffic too, so that's definitely going to slow his lap times. But we all know that Johnny Hamby is really quick, so you know, I kind of figured if Johnny Hamby found the lead, everybody else might be in trouble. But Christopher Davis, or anybody out there that can run him down, is probably Christopher Davis. Had one of the best lap times during practice. He was about 0.8 off during practice, but we'll see what he can do during this race. Back there, the yellow cars, battle of the yellow cars. I was watching a whole bunch of yellow there. We got James Hearns putting some pressure on the 92. I think James Hearns got some heat in the tires, and he's starting to feel frisky out there as he's working the back of that 92 as they go through turn 8, the hairpin, and onto the backstretch.
You'll see on the front bumper cam of James Hearns right now. See how much that draft takes an effect here. We'll see if he can close in a little bit. The back bumper of Ron Mitten. This is for P number 4. That green car up there in the Krankenstein color green is Mike the Dart Herder in the distance there.
Yeah, look at Mike Herder in that green car too. Well, you got it there, Scott. Mike Herder is 3rd position, so he's moved up from 5th, having a quiet night so far, but doing a great job. Mike Herder was brought into this because he is a champion in one of the other series. I believe it was the Sunday night. I think it was the Sunday night or the Xfinity series. I can't remember now off the top of my head.
Jump in here, Ken, but there goes that battle that you were talking about. James Hearns finally makes the pass there through turn 1. around the hard way around Rod Mitten, a little bit of contact, but they're both on their way, and Michael Milfelt sneaks through to pick up another spot to join the top 5 here.
Yeah, Michael Milfelt Jr. started dead last on this field, and he's moving his way up. He was also the second fastest in practice, if my memory serves me, so starting to march his way up front.
Already 6 laps down, about a third of the way through this thing already. It's flying by here.
Greg Mall goes around the inside or the outside of Rod Mitten. It looks like that yellow 92 is struggling, and that 7 car gets deep into the corner again. I think Greg Mall forgot how to drive Martinsville or forgot how to use that brake pedal.
Let's give Johnny Hamby some TV time, I guess, because he probably deserves it with a 6-second lead here with 7 laps on the board. Last time by with a 1:20 20-second 20.9 second lap there. Christopher Davis with a 21.2.
And then just behind Christopher Davis, you got Mike Erder in that 117 car, that lime green machine going around the corner. Just behind him, we got another battle. James Hearns, 155 car, Michael Milfelt Jr. battling for that 4th position now. Michael Milfelt moving his way up. He wants it. That 78's got it. See if he can make something happen as they head down the inside part of the course here.
It's kind of a right-hand hairpin, and then we're going to go down a long backstretch to another left-hand turn hairpin. That's going to be turn 8 before going to the NASCAR backstretch.
Yeah, the turn they just came out of was turn 7, and it's a very fast corner. It's very easy to get the back end loose on there, so you can't quite put the hammer down. As they head into turn 8, heavy braking zone. Looks like James Hearns doing what he needs to do to hold that position at the moment. I'm just looking back here at Hamby. Grabs another lap. Hamby is no stranger to road course racing. He's been a threat out here every week during the Cup season. You know, he started late, Scott. During the Cup season, he almost pulled off a road course win or 2. I know he came up runner-up there at Indy. Gave Justin Michael, our points champion last season in the Cup Series, a run for his money at that track.
Yeah, that was the Indy road course, is that right?
Yeah, that's right. Which we're running. We're actually running the Indy road course this Wednesday, as a matter of fact. So I guess I'll have my work cut out for me with Hamby on that course as well.
What cars are those? Those GT3s, is that right, Ken?
Yeah,
or
so
do you
this
change
season,
it up, or how does that work?
Yeah, this season we're changing it up. So the first 4 races you run the GT4s. The second set of 4 you run the GT3s, and then the last set of 4s we run the high-powered GTEs, and that's what we're running for Indy this week.
Scroll through the field here. Looks like things have kind of calmed down a bit. Michael Milfelt, something must have happened, huh? He's back in 8th spot now, 22 seconds. Oh, I think so.
Oh, yeah.
Jack Watts goes for a run here in turn number 8. He gets it restarted, refired. A lot of plenty of runoff area here without hitting the wall. So even though the guys have taken quite a few spills here so far, no harm, no foul to a lot of these cars. I want to see if I can find. Let's go back to Michael Milfelt. It's showing turn 1. Him and James Hearns. This is a replay right now. We'll see what happens. Oh, Greg Mall, while we're at it, takes a spin in turn 1, and so does Michael Milfelt. Locks it up there, and that's what caused him several spots and about 20 seconds off his the pace that he was running earlier. Gets it righted and on his way.
Yeah, he was having a great race. The one advantage that Michael Milfelt Jr. Has is, well, for one, he's got speed, but the other is if he does have a poor finish tonight, which I kind of doubt he will. I have a feeling he'll make some positions back tonight. He'll get to start further back in the field, or further up front in the field at New Hampshire next week. Your home track there, Scott.
Oh yeah, I do love me some New Hampshire. Kind of snuck it on the schedule there. And we're going to go flat tracking at the 1 mile. New Hampshire Motor Speedway should be a good one next week.
So we got Wes Holland Sr. out in the chat tonight again. Always welcome. Good to have you, sir. I noticed that Wesley Holland Jr. isn't out here tonight, but we're glad having you here watching the race.
It's like Charles Widener showing 1 lap down here. Where did Charlie go? He's off the track.
Yeah, I think Charlie ran out of whatever he needed to get around this place tonight. He started, I think, on the pole, essentially.
Yeah.
Started in Started in second actually, but led a lap. Actually, might have led a couple. I'd have to go back and look at the results when this is over there, Scott. But kind of started going backwards after that. You know, with these cars, they are kind of squirrely, Scott. So you know, anything can even happen to our leader. So Johnny Hamby, probably one of the more veteran road course racers out there. Even he can make a mistake tonight. Although it's kind of comfortable when you got a nice lead like that. You can kind of slow it down. But one thing I've found, Scott, is if you change the way you know how to get around a place to slow up, sometimes you make mistakes.
Absolutely. The car kind of turns a little bit more, a little bit less than you anticipate when you change up the braking point. So sometimes it's best to kind of keep doing what you've been doing that earned you the 7-second lead to begin with. And it seems like that's what Johnny Hamby is doing now, as last time by with a minute 20.9 second lap. Nobody else is in that 20-second range. Christopher Davis that time with a 22.1.
Yeah, I'm feeling Christopher Davis got a little sideways. I'm watching his line right now. It looks pretty good. I don't know that Johnny is going to gain too much on him this time. Probably a little bit, but Christopher Davis looking really solid in that second position right now.
Go back in the pack a little bit. Probably the best battle on the racetrack. Looks like Greg Mall and Michael Milfelt. Maybe Michael Milfelt cracks the top 6 here. Looking to pick up some track position after that spill early on. Looking to crack the top 5 with Rod Mitten is just a couple seconds in front of Mike Milfelt.
You know, that's going to put Michael Milfelt Jr. in a good spot if he can make up a couple more positions tonight. Maybe even catch James Hearns. I know that Michael Milfelt Jr., as I mentioned before, is super fast tonight, but winning last week's race, getting the top 5 here tonight might do good for that points chase that he's got going on in this 4-race season.
Yeah, absolutely. That huge jump for him last week with winning at North Wilkesboro. One of the other unique things about the Multi-League Race of Champions is for the standings. Oh, Greg Mall off the pace here. Again here in turn number, was that turn number 2, I think, that left-hander?
That's correct, sir, Scott.
Yeah. What I was going to say, another thing that's unique about the Multi-League Race of Champions is there's no real bonus points per se. We're only paying points to the finishing. The winner, of course, gets 17 points. It's usually a 17-car field, and then just drops 1 point from there. So no additional points for things like pole positions or lack of incidents, things like that, or fast lap we've seen in some of the other series going straight by finishing order.
Well, we got a battle heaped up here for that 4th position right now. We got James Hearn, actually the top 3. We got James Hearns and Mike Berger starting to duke it out. They were bumper to bumper there just a second ago as they come down the old 3 and 4, the oval part of Miami Homestead here. Actually, 9 and 10, I believe it is. So they head down into this braking zone. So what I was talking about, this braking zone going into turn 1, it's kind of a lazy braking zone, and you constantly have to add pressure as you get closer to the corner. It's kind of a technical corner, and you have to lift really early, so it's a lot of trail braking, and you increase that braking pedal as you're getting into the turn.
Yeah, super tricky into turn number 1 there, carrying a ton of speed too. Watch a lot of guys clip the grass, and saw some drivers have some incidents into turn number 1 already today. Johnny Hamby increasing to an 8-second lead now.
Yeah, Johnny Hamby's starting to run away with this thing at this point, but like I mentioned earlier, anything can happen. We got 9 laps to go. It'll be 8 to go next time by. So not Michael Milfelt, but Mike Erder off the track. Has a big moment there. A lot of damage on that car, so kind of got sideways, I think, coming out of turn 7 there. I said it's a high-speed corner, and that allowed James Hearns to get by.
Yeah, speaking of going on the grass, there it is. There's the replay as he gets a little bit wide and into that outside wall. Can't quite get the car straightened back to the racetrack before putting the power down, and that'll cost Mike Erder a ton of damage on that left front there.
Yeah, with no cautions, he's kind of got to run it now, so looks like there might not be any suspension damage there on that 117, so maybe he can recover from this, but he's been having a solid night all night. But that turn number 7, another high-speed corner. What happens to him, I think, is it stepped out on him, and he had to correct the wheel, and that put him off in the grass and just could not get the car saved.
There's a good look at that left front damage there on the front stretch, as he's still right on the tail of James Hearns here. Looking for the battle of Michael Milfelt. I think that battle was also heating up back here. Looks like he just took that spot from Rod Mitten here in turn number 1.
Yeah, Michael Milfelt Jr. now back into that top 5, and James Hearns quietly running up there in 3rd spot. Do I have that right, Scott?
Oh yeah,
that's right. Yeah.
16 seconds off the lead here, but right there showing something may have happened to Jack Watts. Let's go back here, and this is a replay of Jack Watts Coming into turn number 7 there, the right-hander. Same place that Michael Milfelt screwed up a couple laps ago. There goes Jack Watts off into the grass.
And I was looking at the 7 car, Greg Mall. He kind of struggled trying to get around that car. Greg Mall kind of struggling with that brake pedal like I mentioned earlier tonight, Scott. But he's out here, he's having fun, showing that blue number 7, the Miller unfortunate car we called it during the Cup season.
Yep, that's actually the Freedom Fertilizer blue that was still off his Cup car. Remember, he kind of traded back and forth, running the Miller Misfortune car, and then occasionally he'd trade to the Lawn Care Nuts Freedom Fertilizer blue and red, white, and blue car. That's the blue color that we took from that car. Sharp looking, I like that color.
That lawn care nut guy, I think he just messes with Paul Fesky. Or no, he's St. Augustine. That guy's in Florida.
Yeah, he's in Florida.
Yeah.
Oh,
went to
Greg
St.
Mall
Augustine.
clips that grass, and man, makes the car a handful, it seems.
Yeah, since we're talking about grass, I imagine that's what this grass is, St. Augustine, right?
Yeah, I gotta imagine. Down in Florida, South Florida especially, down by Miami.
And the lawn care nut, he also actually mows. He's one of these guys on YouTube that shows how to take care of your lawn, but he also takes care of a racetrack down there wherever he lives there in Florida. I don't know the name of the racetrack, but he does the lawn care for one of those ovals out there, one of those small quarter-mile ovals out there.
Showing Trent Drum may have ran into some issues last lap. We'll see him here in that blue car coming down the infield straightaway there.
Michael Milfeld Jr. is off the track right now too, Scott. And he retired it. So Michael Milfeld Jr. Big moment. Yeah, it's unfortunate. I kind of wanted to see him move up in the points after that win last week, but
we'll see what happened this time by. This is the incident, the replay. Grabs the curb there, jumps on the outside curb. Same place that who was that earlier? Mike Erda ran into problems, but see him clip the grass, go to the right side, all the way across the racetrack, and looks like the suspension is bent on the right front of that car for Michael Milfelt. Tough break for him. The points leader we talked about with last week's win.
Yeah, well, at least Mike will have an advantage next week when we go to New Hampshire. He'll be starting probably closer to the front this time. But New Hampshire, nice big fast track for these cars. So I'm kind of really excited about that, Scott, because that's going to be kind of the super speedway flat track for these things, I believe. Yeah,
that should be a real fun one, especially with these how durable these cars have proven they can be with a little bit of contact, and it'll be a super racy track, I think, and an awesome race.
Well, Johnny Hamby back up there leading by 12 seconds or so over Christopher Davis. He's going through 9 and 10 right now. The 3 and 4 of the oval side of Miami Homestead. We're going to have 5 to go when he crosses the line here. So having a solid night in that Teal 70 machine.
Going board with Johnny Hamby, you see how difficult it is to get this car slowed down there. He decides not to mow the grass, which is probably adding to his 11-second lead. But doing a great job here, keeping it nice and slow and lethargic, rolling the center of those corners nice and controlled.
Yeah, there's kind of a dip there where he just went through too, so it's kind of a fun corner, but it's also a very slow corner. Got to be really careful of getting the throttle down. So this next corner, this right-hander is kind of a 90-degree right-hander, but then you come up to turn 7, which is a super fast right-hander, and this is where a lot of guys have struggled here with the rear end coming out. And see right here, he gets it nice and clean up on that curbing, and away he goes towards turn 8, the hairpin.
Maybe that battle for a 3rd and 4th with Erder, and well, Erder seems to be about 2 seconds off the bumper of James Hearns, but surprisingly keeping up some pretty good pace here. You notice him, there's the gap right there. Erder's doing a great job even with that damage, not giving up, sticking with the top 5 here, potential finish.
Christopher Davis now still running in 2nd. He's up on the lap traffic, the 12 car of Trent Drum, who started this race on the pole. Now finds himself going a lap down. Trent Drum hanging in there, though. He's currently in 8th. We still have 7 cars on the lead lap, so everybody's doing quite well with 4 laps to go here. We also got Jason Hughes, Mr. Smoke. How you doing out there? I see you out there in chat. Seems to me you should be driving tonight. You could have raced here, or I guess you couldn't race here, but you could be over at, where are they racing tonight, Scott? I can't remember.
New Hampshire, I think, yeah, it is New Hampshire. They took the super late models to New Hampshire in the other race there, the fun race.
So James Hearns back there in 3rd, running behind his teammate of Christopher Davis. So Kind of got a 2-3 of Canadians there. Mike Erder bringing up that 4th position, and Rod Minton just kind of having a quiet night. We really haven't talked too much about Rod. There isn't that many cars on the track, but Rod's just been, you know, just keeping it quiet. Had fast practice time, but he's out there currently running in a top 5.
Yeah, great job by Rod here. Sometimes we have a camera on him. I don't see him in camera land down there, so I don't know.
Yeah, I think I lost my feed there too, Scott. I don't know. You'd have to check for me.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I think it disconnected on me. So anyway, Greg Ball, he's back there trying to hang on to a 6th position. Kind of been struggling all night, but I got to hand it to Greg. He came out here. I don't think he has much practice here, but he's kept it clean for the most part. Had some problems with the braking, but having a pretty good night.
Cool shot there coming into left-hander, turn 8. It's Greg Mall, maybe a little bit deep there, drifts a little bit wide. It's under control and onto the NASCAR backstretch where he's probably most comfortable on this course.
Back up front, the 70 car, that super late model stock car, going through turn 6 there as he comes up to turn 7. Ooh, he gets a little wide there. I was a little worried there for a second. It's also got some lap traffic he's coming up on, but he is our current leader. Looks like these cars are starting to get a little squirrely up there. It looks like he's got Billy Bumgarner up there that he's approaching.
That is Billy Bumgarner. I think he just clipped the grass there entering turn 7. Last time by, Billy Bumgarner putting down a minute 25.1 second lap. Compared, of course, to Johnny Hamby's minute 21.6. Christopher Davis last time with a 21.9. So Christopher Davis, even though that 13-second lead doesn't necessarily tell the entire story, Christopher Davis has been quite impressive trying to keep pace with Johnny Hamby.
Yeah, and I think that start right at the beginning of the race there, Scott, kind of allowed Hamby and I think it was, I'm trying to remember, it was Charles Weiner, kind of escaped the field, really helped out Hamby's case because I think if Christopher can sniff that lead up there, he probably would have done a better job keeping up.
White flag, oh no, I'm sorry, 2 to go this time. Such a big lead I'm not used to, and those cars are pretty similar colors.
Yeah, I was getting excited there. Oh, well, we got 1 to go.
Yep. 1 to go next time by here. As Johnny Hamby down the straightaway on the infield, coming to turn 6 and 7, the right-handers. I don't see any other huge battles on the racetrack. Looks like Erder has battled himself back into 4th spot. And, yeah, but that's going on now. Last time by, Johnny Hamby with a 121.3, so still putting him down about a second faster than anybody else on the racetrack here.
Yeah, really impressed too with James Hearns. He came here, I don't think he had much practice. I think James Hearns has run this track before, but he hasn't run the car here, so I think he just came here and practiced with what he was given tonight, and he's doing a great job. I think he's actually catching his teammate, Christopher Davis. You'll have to check those lap times there for me, Scott.
Yeah, sure. Last time by, well, James Hearns with a 22.5 compared to Christopher Davis with a 22.2, so about 0.3 slower for James Hearns.
Well, we are on the white flag lap. Johnny Hamby has led all but about 2 of these laps going into turn 1 here and 2. This is turn 3. Johnny Hamby keeping it super clean, super solid, road course extraordinaire, which I'll have the fun of battling him this Wednesday night. So Christopher Davis now going through turns 2 and 3. He's about 15.5 seconds off the pace right now in that 2nd place. So Johnny Hamby doing a solid job tonight. In 3rd place, James Hearns 25 seconds right now off that lead as he's entering turn 3 and 4 right now.
There they go, and then Mike Erder doing a heck of a job with that damage, sticking with the pace here, doing a great job. Last time by with a 24.1, and then Rod Minton slowly creeping in that top 5. Like I said, just solid, kind of quiet night for Rod. Nice clean car as well. I was watching Johnny Hamby out to the NASCAR backstretch for the final time here. Multi-league race of champions, road racer extraordinaire. Like I said, Ken, through NASCAR 3 and 4, you can practically coast from here.
Yeah, 3 and 4, he's ran a solid night. He wins a lot of road course races, and tonight's going to be no exception as he crosses the start-finish line and takes his first victory in the MROC series. So He did a great job. The only reason he's in this series is because he was a champion last season in the Wednesday night road course series. So he did not finish in the top 16 because he got a late start in the Cup series, but he finds himself in victory lane in the MROC series. So congrats to Johnny Henry.
Watch Christopher Davis coming across the line there in second spot. James Hearns locking up 3. And Mike Erder, that left front damage, locks it up. P number 4. See where Rod Mitten is coming through NASCAR 3 and 4 right now for the final time.
Yeah, and there he goes. Got the start-finish line. He'll finish in 5th. Greg Mall, last car in the lead lap, crosses the line. Manages not to touch the brakes too hard crossing the line as he blows through the cones there at the end of the straightaway.
I think he's had about enough of this place.
Yeah, I think everybody's going to be looking forward to New Hampshire next week.
Yeah, let's watch Johnny Hamby here bring it a little bit slower on the backstretch here and probably do some donuts on the front stretch. We'll get some interviews queued up here for the folks watching. Mr. Holland, of course, great having you as always. Happy Thanksgiving to you as well and your family. Have a safe week. We'll get some interviews here queued up here momentarily.
Yeah, I was able to get a hold of all the teams already there, Scott, so they're all queued up and ready to go whenever you feel the need.
All right, let's see what Johnny Hamby does here on the front stretch. Of course, got to take advantage of my burnout camera that I make. It's always a fun time doing those as he burns it down here on the front stretch. Johnny Hamby, Multi-League Race of Champions, race number 2. Ooh, your winner there.
Now, Hamby's going to have to start at the back next week. You'll have to ask him about this guy.
Right. Get some stuff queued up here momentarily, and we will then be on our way. Who should we start with? James Hearns, maybe?
Why not?
Let's talk to P number 3 tonight, James Hearns. Kind of had a few battles there, great battles on the racetrack. What'd you think of the race, start to finish there, and how surprised? How much practice time did you get going into this race?
So I practiced a little bit before the race earlier in the week, and then got here about quarter after and hopped in and did a couple laps. Couldn't get a lap together, and then hopped in and did a race.
There it is. We saw lots of incidents throughout the race. It was kind of fun following all the action, but how hairy was it for you? Do you remember the start going into turn 1? And it looks like I think it was Trent Drum, a little bit off pace, just kind of bottlenecking everything up. Guys were 2-3 wide. How nerve-wracking was that to get through the first lap or two there?
He did good, but most of the guys here are pretty respectful, so they understand that not to run over each other. So it was good that way.
Nice.
Maybe a little frustrated because I should have came out in like 4th instead of 9th.
Saw a lot of guys drift forward and back. A lot of 3-wide racing there in that opening lap. So great job working your way through there. Any other incidents that you can recall on the racetrack that maybe got your attention that you can remember?
Yeah, Mike cut off into the grass there, and then I almost put it down into the sand trap at the end of the infield straightaway there.
Yeah, a lot of guys had issues on that turn 4, not turn 4, which turn is it, Ken? 7, 6
Turn
and 7,
8,
the right-handers?
Yeah, 7 was where everybody was getting sideways.
Yeah, 7. Yeah, Mike got sideways, and then I'm going down into the hairpin before the thing, and I overcook it because I'm like, oh, I passed him, I gotta go, and then I overcooked it.
Well, congrats on 3rd place tonight. You got anything for him, Ken?
No, good job. Yeah, I know you were trying to probably catch your teammate up there, Christopher Davis. But no, good job. I was watching you out there in practice. I basically guessed that you'd only taken the couple of laps that you had prior to the race practice time, but you proved me wrong. You actually put a little bit of time in.
Yeah, probably 20 minutes or so before that.
Yeah, but you have a leg up on some of these guys because you've actually been here before.
I've raced here before, and I like to road race.
Yep. No, and that's what we talk about. We know you enjoy these road courses, and it was a lot of fun. You had my favorite car out there tonight. I really like that gold, yellow-looking car that Scott painted for you. It's really nice to see you out there.
All right, thanks, guys. Thanks for everything you guys do.
All right, congrats, James, and we'll talk to you. Have a safe Thanksgiving, of course. We'll talk to you next week from New Hampshire Motor Speedway. We're going flat track and looking forward to seeing what you can do there.
He already had his Thanksgiving.
That's correct. It's just the Americans that are having. They're late, always late.
That's right. Way up in Canada. Right. How much snow you get there already?
We got 2 feet in my driveway.
Wow.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. Well, have a good week, James, and we'll talk
later,
to you
guys.
next week. Congrats.
Thanks.
There is James Hearns, who we want. You want to talk to Christopher Davis, Ken?
Yeah, let's bring a teammate up here. Hey, Chris, you're up here with Scott and I, and congrats on that second place finish. I got to ask you, the start of that race was kind of hairball, and I remember talking to you prior to the race saying, hey, all you got to do is stay behind Hamby, but it looks like that was taken out of your hands. Talk to us about that start.
That start was pretty wild. I think we had a bunch of guys that didn't want to be up there, and they were just trying to move out of the way. But before I knew it, Johnny was 6 seconds ahead of me, and I was like, well, crap.
Yeah, that's kind of, Scott and I were talking about that Johnny was able to get that jump on you guys with that bottleneck up front. But you did a great job navigating that traffic. Talk to us about what your approach was to this race.
My approach was basically just trying not to burn my tires off and try and keep Johnny in my sights in case he happened to drive off track, but he never did, so that didn't really pan out too well.
Yeah, well, it got you a second place finish, and that's always good. You can't complain about those. But next week, we're going flat tracking up towards your neck of the woods up there in New Hampshire. I know you're out there in Canada, but you're just a few miles to the north up there. What do you got for New Hampshire?
Oh, I think New Hampshire's going to require some practice. I hate flat tracks.
Yeah, but you're a road racer, man. Road racers tend to excel on flat tracks.
Yeah, but road cars have downforce. These don't.
Yeah, that's true. Well, Scott and I, that's Scott's favorite track, so don't throw it too much shade.
Yeah, I'm listening here, Chris. But
Hey, Chris,
congrats on the second place tonight there, Chris. Car looks like it's in one piece. Did you have any problems with some of these turns that the guys, either turn 1 or turn 7, seem to be the two biggest problems for guys? Did you have any issues there at all?
Turn 1 wasn't bad. I think it was turn 4, that weird like right turn downhill. That was messing me up a little bit.
Cool.
So
Well,
he's a turn 7 expert there, Scott.
all right. Well, congrats, Chris, on P number 2. We'll see where that shuffles you in the points here. Should be able to take advantage of some of the other competitors not racing this. So hopefully pick up some points and maybe be in title contention here as we narrow it down to just 2 races left, New Hampshire and Stafford short track racing in the second week there. So congrats, Chris, and we'll talk to you next week from New Hampshire.
Yeah, congrats, sir, Chris.
Thank you.
And Ken, here's our race winner if you want to take it away here to start this.
Johnny Hamby up here with Scott and I in the booth. Congrats on first place.
Thank you. I appreciate it. That was a wild card, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was, and we mentioned it to the other 2 drivers. That start was kind of wild. That kind of seemed to allow you to get up front early. Is that kind of how you seen things?
Yeah, it let me just take things way easy. It let me not have to push the tires, push the car. Trent let me kind of buy him, and I was behind Charlie, and just was taking it easy behind him. He ran off in the grass. I kind of had it handed to me, you know?
Well, I wouldn't say that. You were really fast out there, and I don't know if Christopher Davis or James Hearns could have been directly behind you if they would have had anything for you or not. You're a really fast guy, so kind of doesn't surprise me or Scott, but you did get your first lane win here on Multi-League Racing TV, so that's got to feel good.
Absolutely, it does, man. I've been knocking on the door for a while in the ovals trying to get there, and they might not have caught me, but they would have made me sweat.
Well, speaking of ovals, well, before we get to the ovals, Scott has been asking this question to all the drivers. I should let him ask it, but what were some of the trickiest parts of this track tonight?
For me, it was probably the hairpins and getting the power down, especially turn 6, the right-hander with the right-hand kink right behind it. It was so hard to get that power down. I'd short-shift it to 3rd to go around that kink, and it just still wanted to step out. It just, with that ass, wanted to step out to the left every time if you put too much into it. Keeping the tires cool, keeping them under you. That was I think the hairpins were the hardest.
That's what me and Scott have been trying to get out of people. That's actually turn 7, and it's like everybody says, no, the hairpin was crap, or turn 1 was crap, and nobody's saying turn 7.
6 to 7 was probably my toughest.
Yeah, those are hard corners, but you mastered it tonight. Way to go on that win. So next week we're headed to Scott's favorite track in the whole wide world.
All right.
It's where he painted your car. In fact, that blue teal number 70 was painted out there in New Hampshire. What do you got for that place?
You tell me.
Well,
I've run it some.
It's a flat track, so
Yes.
You're good on road courses, and it's been my experience the guys that are good on road courses tend to be really good on flat tracks.
Well, we're gonna have the full-on guys back out here, and I'll be starting from the back, I assume. So I'll have my work cut out for me, but hey, I'm ready for it.
Well, it should be fun to watch. Scott, what do you have for Johnny before we send him out of here?
Yeah, Johnny, congrats, of course, on the win this week. I think in the points, am I remembering right that you had some issues last week at North Wilkesboro and kind of finished towards the tail of the field? Is that right?
Yeah, I got caught up in one of the little, something. I'll probably finish where I should have, around 10th or 11th.
Yeah, so I'm just wondering, I'm just thinking that this will probably shuffle you more towards this middle of the pack here as we go into race number 3 at New Hampshire. Maybe, what do you got at New Hampshire? We talked about that already, but you got to be maybe a little bit aggressive here to pick up some points. But also, how surprised were you to see some of the other competitors potentially for the championship not here tonight? And how does that play into at all your strategy going forward in this series?
Let me tell you something, Justin, Merck, Wesley, they probably made my life a lot easier tonight. So I'll send them a thank you card. But whatever happens next week, man, I'm learning as I go with these things, especially with the ovals. I'm still learning from these guys. Very helpful, and they're probably going to stop soon if I keep running up on them like this. But I'm having a blast with it. Thanks.
That's all that counts. Appreciate you, and appreciate you certainly joining Multi-League Race of Champions. Win number 1 on the series in just the 4-week series, so proving that you certainly belong here, taking the championship during Ken's Road Racing Series on Wednesday nights. So appreciate you being here. Congrats, and we'll talk to you next week from New Hampshire. Have a safe Thanksgiving.
Yep, thanks. Have a happy Thanksgiving there, Johnny, and congrats.
Same to both of you. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Johnny. All right, that about wraps it up, Ken, from Homestead, Miami, Florida. Round number 2, Multi-League Race of Champions is in the books here. We'll see how the points shuffle up. We'll get those posted up. And I think overall it was a pretty interesting, fun race there, but no surprise to see Johnny, the road racer, taking the checkered flag tonight.
Certainly wasn't. It would have been interesting, too, to see some of those other drivers, if they could have made it tonight, what they would have done, because I think people like Justin Michael are normally really fast on the ovals, try to make his way up through this field tonight. But you never know how these things are going to start, and we have no caution, so that didn't allow like our second place, third place guys to be up there in the back. But Johnny proved that he had the talent to keep it up there, so I don't know that they would have had anything for him anyway. But really enjoyed this race. Looking forward to New Hampshire, going to your hometown, I guess.
Yeah, so I don't need to go far down the road. I guess I can sleep in my own bed that weekend and have a good time. So appreciate you doing this with me, Ken. Of course, we're having a lot of fun here on the Multi-League Race of Champions on the Multi-League Racing Network. Appreciate everybody watching. Of course, all the viewers out there, have a happy Thanksgiving if you're celebrating, and we'll talk to you next week from New Hampshire Motor Speedway. Thanks, everybody. Have a great week.
Yeah, happy Thanksgiving. Hit that like button, subscribe.
Driver, start your engine.